Today we are going to talk about clinical manifestation of infective endocarditis and complications of infective endocarditis. So basically clinical manifestation of infective endocarditis is divided into 10 groups. First is a clinical manifestation which is actually the general manifestation. Second is a clinical manifestation associated with our central nervous system. Third one is a clinical manifestation associated with eye. Fourth one is a clinical manifestation associated with skin. Fifth one is a clinical manifestation associated with respiratory system. Sixth one is a clinical manifestation associated with spleen. Seventh one is a clinical manifestation associated with cardiovascular system. Eighth one is a clinical manifestation associated with renal system. Ninth one is a clinical manifestation associated with blood and blood vessels, and the last one is a clinical manifestation associated with the finger. So let's begin with the clinical manifestation, which is actually the general manifestation. So here we are going to talk about clinical manifestation. So first one is a general manifestation. So when we talk about the general manifestation, so the general manifestation which is associated with infective endocarditis is fever. Second one is anorexia. Third one is weakness. Fourth one is weight loss. Fifth one is fatigue. And the last one, sixth one, is a lethargy. So when we talk about the general manifestation, so the general manifestation which is associated with the infective endocarditis is fever, anorexia, weakness, weight loss, fatigue and lethargy. Now after the general manifestation, next is a clinical manifestation which is associated with the central nervous system. So the next one is central nervous system. So first is the So when we talk about the clinical manifestation which is associated with the central nervous system, so basically there are two clinical manifestations associated with the central nervous system. First is the encephalopathy and second is the blindness. So first of all, what is the meaning of encephalopathy? Encephalopathy is actually the broad term which represents the disease of the brain, and that disease of the brain is characterized by alteration in the function as well as the structure of the brain. So this is basically the encephalopathy, and second is the blindness. So these two clinical manifestation is associated with the central nervous system. Now after the central nervous system, next is the eye. So when we talk about eye, so here is not a blindness, here is a headache. So when we talk about the clinical manifestation associated with central nervous system, first is encephalopathy and second is a headache. Now when we talk about the clinical manifestation associated with the eye, first is a Roth spot and second is a blindness. So what is the meaning of Roth spot? Roth spot is actually the white or pale center retinal hemorrhage. So it is actually what happened. There is a lesion, and these lesion have a white or pale center, and it is actually the retinal hemorrhage, and it is one of the most common clinical manifestation of infective endocarditis. That's why in 80% cases of the infective endocarditis, this clinical manifestation is present. So in 80% cases of the infective endocarditis, this clinical manifestation Roche spot is present. So this Roche spot is actually what? It is actually white or pale center retinal hemorrhage. And associated with 80% cases of the infective endocarditis. And second is a blindness. Now when we talk about the clinical manifestation associated with the skin, next is a clinical manifestation associated with the skin. So here is a clinical manifestation associated with the skin. So basically there are 4 clinical manifestations associated with the skin. First one is the petechial spot. Second one is purpuric spot. Third one is Janeway lesion, and the fourth one is Osler's node. So let's start with petechial spot. Petechial spot is actually the lesion which arises due to the bleeding beneath the skin. It means this petechial spot is actually the lesion which arises due to the bleeding beneath the skin. Now this petechial spot is a round, and along with round, this is a brown and purple spot. This is a round, brown, purple spot. So this petechial spot is a round brown purple spot, and it arises due to bleeding beneath the skin. And in general cases, the petechial spot is basically 2 types. First is a small petechial spot, and second is a large petechial spot. So small petechial spot arises due to the trauma, and large petechial spot arises due to the cardiovascular disease and the bleeding disorder. So in case of infective endocarditis, the petechial spot is usually the large petechial spot. So this petechial spot is actually the large petechial spot. Large spot. So this is all about the petechial spot. A petechial spot is what? It is a round brown purple spot arises due to bleeding beneath the skin, and it is a large spot. Now after that, second is a purpuric spot, and third is a Janeway lesion. When we talk about the Janeway lesion, so it is important. So when we talk about the Janeway lesion, So Janvey lesion, first when we talk about the incidence, so it is a rare type of lesion. Now second, when we talk about the tenderness, it is non-tender lesion. So it is non-tender. Now when we talk about the morphology of the lesion, so it is a small So when we talk about the morphology of the lesion, so it is a small erythematous, macular, papular or nodular lesion. And after that, when we talk about the size of the lesion, so it is a few millimeter in diameter. Few millimeter in diameter. Now, when we talk about the site of the Janvey lesion, so it is mostly seen on palm and soles. So this is all about the Janvey lesion. Janvey lesion is a rare type of lesion. It is a non-tender, small erythematous, macular, papular or nodular lesion. It is few millimeter in diameter and it is basically seen on palm and soles. Now after that, next is the Osler's node. So let's talk about Osler's node. So when we talk about incidence, it is not a rare type of lesion. So it is not rare. As compared to the Janvey lesion, it is not a rare type of lesion. So Osler node is not rare. When we talk about the tenderness, it is tender lesion. So it is tender. Now when we talk about the morphology of the lesion, so it is a So when we talk about the morphology of the lesion, it is a pinkish purple lesion with pale center. And after that, when we talk about the diameter, so the average diameter or average size of the lesion is 1 to 1.5 millimeter. And after that, when we talk about the site, so it is mostly seen in distal finger and toes. So when we talk about the Osler node, it is not a rare type of lesion as compared to the Janvey lesion. It is a tender lesion. It is a pinkish purple lesion with pale center. And when we talk about the diameter or the size, the average diameter is 1 to 1.5 mm, and when we talk about the site, it is mostly seen in distal finger and toes. Beside this, it is also seen in lateral digits and thinner muscle. So beside the distal finger and toes, it is also seen in lateral digits and thinner muscle. So this is all about the Osler's node. Now this is all about the clinical manifestation associated with the skin. Next to that is the clinical manifestation associated with the respiratory tract. So let's begin with the clinical manifestation associated with respiratory tract. or the respiratory system. So when we talk about the clinical manifestation associated with respiratory system, so basically there are two clinical manifestations associated with the respiratory system. First one is hemoptysis and second one is a pleuritic chest pain. So this is a two clinical manifestation associated with the respiratory system. Next to that is a clinical manifestation which is associated with the cardiovascular system. So next one is a clinical manifestation associated with cardiovascular system. Next is the clinical manifestation associated with the cardiovascular system. So when we talk about the clinical manifestation associated with the cardiovascular system, first is a tachycardia. Second one is a cardiac murmur. Third one is a congestive cardiac failure. Fourth one is a pericarditis. And the last one is the perivascular abscess. So when we talk about the cardiovascular clinical manifestation associated with the cardiovascular system, first is a tachycardia. Second one is a cardiac murmur, third is a congestive cardiac failure, fourth one is the pericarditis, and the last one is a perivascular abscess. So this is all about the clinical manifestation associated with the cardiovascular system. Next to that is a clinical manifestation associated with the spleen. Clinical manifestation associated with spleen. So there is a single clinical manifestation associated with the spleen, that is splenomegaly. Splenomegaly. So this is a single clinical manifestation which is associated with the spleen. Now next to spleen is a clinical manifestation associated with the renal system. So when we talk about the clinical manifestation which is associated with the renal system and kidney or the kidney is So there are two clinical manifestations associated with renal system. First is the hematuria and second is proteinuria. What does it mean? It means along with urine there is a presence of either blood in urine or either protein in urine. So these two conditions is associated with infective endocarditis. Either the patient urine is associated with blood or protein. If the patient urine is associated with blood, this condition is known as hematuria, and if the patient urine is associated with protein, this condition is known as proteinuria. So clinical manifestation associated with the renal system is 2, hematuria and proteinuria. Next to that is a clinical manifestation associated with blood and blood vessels. Clinical manifestations are associated with blood and blood vessels. So basically there are 2 clinical manifestations associated with blood and blood vessels. First is anemia, second is a loss of peripheral pulse. So first one is a anemia and second is loss of peripheral pulse. Loss of peripheral pulse. Now after that, next is the, so this is a 2 clinical manifestation associated with the blood and blood vessel. First is anemia and second is the loss of peripheral pulse. Now next to that is the last clinical manifestation, that is clinical manifestation associated with the finger. So when we talk about the clinical manifestation associated with the finger, so there is a single clinical manifestation associated with the finger, that is clubbing. So when we talk about the clinical manifestation associated with finger, so there is a clubbing. So this is all about the clinical manifestation of infective endocarditis. Now next to that is the, so then we review the clinical manifestation of infective endocarditis. So there is basically the clinical manifestation of infective endocarditis is divided into the 10 groups. First is the clinical manifestation, which is a general manifestation. Second is the clinical manifestation associated with the central nervous system. Third one is the clinical manifestation associated with the eye. Fourth one is the clinical manifestation associated with the skin. Fifth one is the clinical manifestation associated with the respiratory system. Sixth one is the clinical manifestation associated with the cardiovascular system. Seventh one is the clinical manifestation associated with the spleen. Eighth one is the clinical manifestation associated with the renal system. Ninth one is the clinical manifestation which is associated with the blood and blood vessels, and the last one is the clinical manifestation associated with the finger. So this is all about the clinical manifestation. Now next to that is the complications of infective endocarditis. So let's begin with the complications of infective endocarditis. So basically the complication of infective endocarditis is 4. There are 4 complications of infective endocarditis. First is a heart failure, second is a thrombosis, third one is a stroke, and fourth one is a risk of failure of organ. And these organ is basically the 4 organ. First is the brain, second one is the lung, third one is the spleen, and fourth one is the renal system or the kidney. So when we talk about the complication, so basically the complication of infective endocarditis, first is a heart failure. Second one is stroke. Third one is thrombosis. And the last one is high risk of organs failure. And these organ include first one is a brain, second one is what? Second one is lungs, third one is spleen, and fourth one is kidney. So this is basically the complications of the infective endocarditis. The complication of the infective endocarditis include the heart failure, second one is stroke, third one is thrombosis, and the fourth one is high risk of organ failure. These organs include the brain, lungs, spleen and kidney. So this is all about the clinical manifestation and complications of infective endocarditis. So this is all about the today's lecture. Thank you.